Hello and welcome to the Good Cigar. I'm your host Al Roman, and today we have a special treat. We have the Nova Cigar. And it's not just any Nova Cigar, it's the Nova Leo X. So stick around and let's see how this one does. Well, today we're doing the Nova Leo X, and it is an amazing cigar. I've had this before, and we've had it on our podcast before. If you haven't heard that, it's a Good Cigar podcast, and you can find us on Spotify, Google Podcast, and Apple Podcast, along with Stitcher, Breaker, and a few other ones on there. Just look for the Good Cigar, or go to thegoodcigar.com, where you can get all the content, the YouTube, and our podcast. Plus, we can pick up our great merchandise that we have, our caps, and our buttons and our pins and our decals and the new poker chips, which are out now. So get yours while they last. And that's at thegoodcigar.com. Now, let's take a look at this Nova cigar. It's a great looking cigar. It's got a medium colored dark wrapper. It's a little bit veiny. The seams are almost invisible. That's how nicely bunched up this is here. And it's got a medium firm pack, a slight toothiness to it, and isn't that just a gorgeous, beautiful band that they put on there? So inside this cigar, it's got a Ecuadorian Habano 2000 wrapper. It's got a Dominican binder and a Dominican filler. So I'm really looking forward to presenting this cigar to you from Nova Cigars. I'm going to get this cut up, and I'm going to put, I'm just been doing a straight cut on this with my new Calibri straight cutter. It's got serrated edges on there, and I've used a serrated cutter before, and it really does great with that. So even when it gets slightly dull, it's still cutting very, very sharply into the cigar, and I've just never had a problem with the straight cut and the serrated straight cut. And Calibri and a few other brands offer this one. This is the newest one I just picked up from Calibri, and it's just a great cut. So I'm just gonna take a little bit off the top. Sometimes I do a deep V on the cigar, but today I just wanted to go with the traditional straight cut on that. And let's get this, do a quick cold draw on it. Getting some of the cedar into it. A hint of the leather. Looks like it's going to have about a light to medium draw on there. And let's get this lit up. I'm so glad you're joining us, and I'm getting back to getting some of the YouTube in. I know we've been rather busy with the podcast, the Good Cigar podcast, and we've had Ari and Leo. They're the owners of the Nova Cigar, and we've had them on the show on the podcast. So if you get a chance, listen in on them. They're great, great, nice people. First impressions? Greatness. It's one of those great smooth cigars right out of the bat. There's no harshness, no bitterness to it. And getting the cedar. Cedar seems to be the dominant kind of flavor in there, with a slight hint of maybe a little coffee into it, and just a hint of the leather. But the cedar coming through there is what I'm really, really getting. But it's a very smooth, easy draw cigar. Puts out a great smoke content as well. Well, let's get into the first third, see where this one goes and where it takes us and what flavors we're getting out of it. I'm thoroughly enjoying the Nova Cigar Leo X. It's just amazing. So let's get right back and sit back, relax, and enjoy the good cigar. Well, I'm into the first third, and if you could see already how well that ash is, that's in the first third. I mean, it's just beautifully stacked up. It's not coming off there. That's how well the Nova X is just construction. And I forgot to mention it earlier on what the size of the cigar is. Now they call it a Rebusto, and it's 5 3/4 by 50. It really feels more the size of a Toro, which is one of the sizes I really do enjoy. So it's really kind of in between a Rebusto and the Toro. And I've got down to the first third of this. You can see how well the ash is holding up, and it is doing wonderfully, really well. Great flavors in there. The cedar has backed off a little bit, and now it's coming a little bit of leather and a little bit of hay almost, and there's also a bit of some nut in there, almost like a Brazilian nut, or maybe a cashew, kind of that flavor in there. Not quite almond, but it's just, that's what's kind of coming through there with a hint of coffee on the back end of it. So finishing up really nicely. Nice sweet on the lips. You can just taste the oils from that Ecuadorian Habano wrapper that's on there. And I've always been a big fan of Habano wrapper. They've got so much good flavor on them. And they've really balanced it really nice with the Dominican filler and the Dominican binder that's inside of that. And it's really a lot more flavor than sometimes you can normally get out of a Dominican cigar. So I'm really impressed with the flavors I get out of this. But this is one that it's mellow. It's not super flavor, just crazy off the wall. It's got some great flavors. It's got a great medium draw to it and a great smoke output. This is one of the ones that Melissa, my wife, absolutely loves, the Leo X. This is probably her #1 favorite cigar. And for her, it's just that perfect smooth and creaminess in the smoke. I also enjoy these. I enjoy these with a coffee in the morning. I enjoy them in the afternoons. And it's just a great cigar. Sometimes even in the evenings. It's just a great all the way around cigar. And the box that they come in and everything, the presentation that they do, that Nova Cigar does, is everything is top notch. Just great, good smoke output. Does a really great job with everything. So we're gonna get into the second third and see how long my ash holds out for. Hopefully it doesn't fall on me like it normally does, but I've had these Leo X's where I've had good 4.5 inches of ash, just kept that going, and it just stays like that, like it's just a stack of nickels in there, just rolled up greatness. Still very well constructed, well made cigars, and everything that Nova Cigars does is always great. So let's get into the second third there and see if the flavors change or what happens with that, and we'll be checking that out. Well, I'm into the second third, as you can see, and I had to take off the first Leo X band that was on here, but it's still, I finally had to get rid of the ash. It was just about 2 inches long before I was able to drop it off, and it's still holding together really nicely. The construction is just amazing on these things, and it's also, the flavors now have transitioned to a little bit sweeter tones that are in there now. So that leather has died down a little bit. The cedar has pretty much leveled out with the leather that's in there. You're still getting a little bit of that floral notes on the end, and a little bit more of the coffee is kind of coming through that. There's a little bit of spice into it now as I'm getting down to the second third. It's kind of like a little a cooking spice. It's not white pepper, just a very slight little bit that's coming in through there. And it's really smooth, great, flavorful, good cigar. And I talked with Leo, who actually, this was her blend. This is the one she wanted this one to be hers when she went to the factory and said, this is what I'm wanting to do, and come through it. And she said, it took a lot of trial and error, and she finally, this is the one she wanted to be, as with her name on it, the Leo X. And it really does stand up to that of being a great cigar, especially from all the Nova cigars. And they're out of the Dominican Republic is where Nova Cigars, the manufacturing company, is at. And they said, Leo had told me on an interview on our Instagram, the Good Cigar on the podcast, the Good Cigar podcast, that the family that was there made cigars for a French family, and that's all they did. And they were able to now open up, and they have all these great, they've got, if you haven't been to novacigar.com, go check that out. They've got some wonderful limited edition cigars where they have these old tobaccos. And I want to say this is like, some of their tobaccos are 10 and 12 year aged tobaccos that they have. And those are a lot on the limited production ones, but all their cigars are aged. And you can definitely tell that in this one, the care and construction put into this cigar. Great smoke put output, still a great flavorful good cigar. So make sure you get to Nova Cigar and check them out, because you don't want to miss these cigars. These have become one of our favorite cigars, is the Nova coming through. Just great. Like I said, we have them on the podcast. We've had them on there twice, and really enjoy their cigars. They're great people. So check them out. And we're going to get down to the final third and see where, if there's any more transitions, what takes place right there, and let's see what happens. Well, I'm into the final third of the Nova Leo X, and it's still just a wonderfully constructed, well-made cigar. So happy and love this cigar here. And I'm down, and the flavors that are kind of coming through it now, that white pepper has come up a little bit. You're still getting the cedar and the leather, although it's in the back end. The nut has died off, and a little bit of a leather undertone there, but the white pepper is really coming through a lot more on the last third of this cigar. Still, it's not like a super strong pepper bomb by any means of the imagination, but you can taste some of that pepper now, some of the spice, some of that maybe a little bit of the cooking spice with the white pepper coming into it. Really super smooth. Look at me in the ash. This is from me from just a minute ago. It's just still the whole entire cigar is constructed so well. Such a great tasty cigar. So if you get a chance, get over to Nova Cigars and check them out. Get you a bunch of them, because they are good. I'm telling you, they are great. And if you do, tell them I sent you, and from the Good Cigar, Al Roman from the Good Cigar, and they'll take care of you there with it. And I gotta say, I want to thank them very much for all that they do. They've really been really big supporters of our show, and just absolutely loving the Nova cigars. And I think you are too. I think you're going to enjoy it. There's something there for everybody there. And they have such a great, all the Vietolas that they have. And something kind of unique too about them is each one of their Vietolas is a different cigar. So no one Vietola is the same as the other, which is really, really unique. And we've had quite a few of them. Not all of them yet, but quite a few of them. So try those out. And don't forget to go to the website, thegoodcigar.com, where you can check out the YouTube, you can check out the podcast, and you can check out the Instagram as well. That's on there for the link for that. And find us on Instagram, The Good Cigar, and of course always The Good Cigar Podcast. And listen to us there on a show. Me and Melissa have a great time and want to encourage the love and knowledge of cigars around the world. And remember, life is too short for bad cigars or bad liquor. I'm going to smoke this all the way down, and we'll see you next time on The Good Cigar. See ya. Greatness.